For the kingdom of heaven is like a householder who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. After agreeing with the laborers for a denarius a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And going out about the third hour, he saw others standing idle in the marketplace. And to them he said, "You go into the vineyard too, and whatever is right I will give you." So they went, going out again about the 6th hour and the 9th hour, he did the same. And about the 11th hour, he went out and found others standing, and he said to them, "Why do you stand here idle all day?" They said to him, "Because no one has hired us." He said to them, "You go into the vineyard too." And when evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, "Call the laborers and pay them their wages, beginning with the last up to the first." And when those hired about the 11th hour came, each of them received a denarius. Now when the first came, they thought they would receive more, but each of them also received a denarius. And on receiving it, they grumbled at the householder, saying, "These last workers only 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us who have borne the burden of the day and the scorching heat." But he replied to one of them, "Friend, I'm not doing you wrong. Did you not agree with me for a denarius? Then take what belongs to you and go. I wish to give to this last as I give to you. Am I not allowed to do as I wish with what belongs to me? Or is your eye evil because I am good? So the last will be first and the first last." Good morning. Welcome to the short biblical reflection on the Gospel reading from the Gospel according to Matthew chapter 20, verses 1 up to 16. It is the parable of the workers in the vineyard. The Gospel reading for 25th Sunday in Ordinary Time, Year A. The first remark concerning the translation, those concept of time hours. Currently, many modern translations just translate not only the values, but already they accommodate them to our time concepts, our Western time concepts. So then, instead of translating it literally, the third hour, they translate the 9th hour or 9 in the morning. Why we should keep in mind that in the biblical world, the day is divided into two phases, the night and daylight, which are both equal of 12 hours. So then when we hear the third hour, in fact, if we would travel to some other parts of the world, such concept can be found. For example, I found that concept in Africa. When we talk about the third hour, it will be, of course, now our time 9 a.m. And then when will be the 11th hour will be 5 p.m. So then 11 hour sounds more stronger for me because keeping in mind that the day is just only of 12 hours. So in fact, when they come at the 11th hour, it is just only remaining 1 hour. Then this parable begins with a statement agreeing with the laborers for a denarius a day, and the same concept is retaken at the end in answer given. Did you not agree with me for a denarius? Then the parable ends with this statement. So the last will be first and the first will be last, this proverbial saying, which is already taken in the middle in verse 8, when is given this order to pay, beginning with the last and up to the first. So the second part focuses on this reversal. There is yet also one phrase which I highlighted in particular way, translating it also very literally from Greek. Or is your eye evil because I am good? Not like some others, for example, translating, are you jealous because I am good? I will refer to this concept back later on, looking at the biblical context, the literal context. Now stating also that in verse 1, in the lectionary, this first word is omitted, but once is included, for sure it calls us to look also in particular what precedes. For the kingdom of heaven is like a householder. Therefore, this parable is an answer to what was stated, what was said before. And of course, looking at the literal context, firstly, we can notice as our parable ends with this proverbial saying, the last will be first and the first will be last. Immediately the preceding verse before our parable, that is the last verse of chapter 19, has similar statement. Many that are first will be last, and the last verse, thus framing our parable and strengthening that concept that the parable is just like an answer to what precedes, but also possibly even is retaken later on with what follows. Now, linking with what precedes, we can see that as we have in this answer, I am good, this word good is used already in the middle of the chapter 19 when the rich person comes to Jesus with the question, Teacher, what good must I do to have eternal life? So Jesus answers, why do you ask me about what is good? Only there is one who is good. So in this way, Jesus answers that God is the only one who is good. And now in the parable, this householder, which represents God himself, also is answering, I am good. So identifying with this goodness, this divine goodness. Then, as we have in our parable, agreeing with the laborers for a denarius a day as a payment, as a reward for the work done, this rich person is asking what he should do, what he must do in order to have eternal life, to gain it. And so it's the same concept. To have eternal life is this denarius in our parable. But also, just immediately before our parable, Peter, in the name also of other apostles, hearing what Jesus is answering to this person, there is a rich person, and talking about the danger of riches, is asking, so we have left everything and follow you. What then shall we have? Presumably we can answer that Peter wants also to probably even to receive something more than only eternal life like this rich person, and this parable therefore would be a direct answer to it. Because then, in that case, the first ones could be not only as we would just traditionally link to the Pharisees, the scribes, or the nation of Israel in general, but also could be to the apostles who are dedicating themselves just since the beginning of the mission of Jesus, why this rich person would represent all those who are coming at the last moment and have also possibility of gaining eternal life if they get engaged, if they accept this proposal to go and to work in the vineyard. Now, retaking this concept evil eye, is your evil eye because I am good? This evil eye could also be translated as sick eye. In fact, the word eye appears at the end of the chapter 20, so it means following our parable when we have the healing of two blind men near Jericho, and they are asking, when Jesus is, they are asking to be healed, and Jesus is posing this question, what do you want me to do for you? So they answer him, Lord, let our eyes be open. They are physically blind and they want to see. Why in this parable we can have the concept of spiritual blindness, this inability to see properly and to judge properly. And therefore this blindness also could refer even to Peter and the apostles by posing such a question, what then shall we have, with possibility of expectation receive something more than only the eternal life in comparison to others. I would like to wish you a nice day, a nice reflection on this gospel reading. God bless you.